Seeing all members present having voted without objection, the Secretary will close the board and announce the vote.
Mr. President, on bypass of Senate Bill 3-4, there are 20 aye votes, 17 no votes, and 1 excused.
A majority of members elected and serving having voted therefore, the bill is passed.
Mr. President.
Yeah, baby, that was Michigan State Senator Dana Pohanke recording the moment that the Michigan Senate voted to repeal a 2012 law restricting union rights. Here's more on this win for unionization efforts in the state. Senate Democrats voted along party lines in support of repealing the decade-old right-to-work law. Good on y'all. In a state long considered a pillar of organized labor, the law enacted in 2012 when Republicans fully controlled the Michigan government prohibits public and private unions from requiring that non-union employees pay union dues, even if the union bargains on their behalf. Senators approved the repeal on a 20-17 vote, sending it back to the House, which passed its own version last week, but must approve the final language. Democratic Governor Gretchen Whitmer has said she'll sign it. No stuff. The Senate also followed the House's actions last week in voting to restore the state's prevailing wage law, which requires contractors hired for state projects to pay union level wages, as well they should. A bill seeking to reimburse some union members the cost of their dues has also been co-sponsored by 33 House Democrats, further signifying the direction of the party after they took full control of the state government this year. The law had a huge negative impact on unionization in Michigan. Michigan had the nation's 7th highest percentage of unionized workers when the right to work law was enacted in 2012, but that dropped to the 11th in 2022. Over the past decade, union membership in Michigan has fallen by 2.6 percentage points, as overall union membership has been falling steadily for decades, reaching an all-time low last year of over 10%. Coming from the Associated Press, GOP members of the Michigan legislature were dismayed by the vote. Dismayed, as was Wendy Block of the Michigan Chamber of Commerce, who said this. Y'all not surprised what side Wendy was on. Being a right to work law state makes us more competitive. That's a bunch of BS, y'all. Nationally, and especially with our neighboring states who also have these laws, that's a bunch of BS, y'all. No, it makes you anti-union, Wendy, ma'am. It makes you anti-union. It makes you anti-workers' rights. It makes you a corporatist, Wendy. That's what it makes you. This isn't Peter Pan. Grow up.
Yeah.
Grow up.
100%.
Go ahead, Jackson.
Well, just 100%, because like there's really no impactful argument against unionization when the data purely shows that the middle class was the strongest and people had access to that type of coverage and that type of safety. Whenever you hear arguments from people who like dislike unions, it's typically, I mean, not that they're always horrible people, maybe they're not political, but it's typically like coming from an individualist perspective, like they work in management or something, and they've tried to fire somebody before or something along those lines, and then they couldn't do it. Or the perspectives of their friends in management and people who don't have to deal with labor types of jobs, because most people we know who are in unions, they get paid great. And then the argument against like having to pay your dues, that, I mean, what are we talking about?
And union jobs, Jackson, as we all know, it lists the wages of everybody else. And while we're talking about that, let's put up this graph showing where the American people, how they feel about unions. American approval of labor unions from 1936 to 2022. Do you approve of labor unions? It is up. Over 70% of Americans do that.